Five is the number of the day.
Welcome to the Fan2Fan 5-Minute Fridays, where we talk about a topic, a movie, a TV show, anything that we're interested, passionate about for, give or take, 5 minutes. My name is Bernie Gonzalez, and on this episode, we have returning Fan2Fan Podcast guest, Kristen Webster. Kristen is an editor, producer, writer in the world of cinematic arts. She received her master's in film editing from the American Film Institute, AFI, and in this short episode, Kristen is going to share some of her thoughts for the intro scene, the editing that John Carpenter did in his 1978 movie,
Halloween. Newsweek magazine calls it a superb exercise in the art of suspense, the most frightening flick in years. Halloween. The Chicago Sun-Times says it's so scary, I would compare it to Psycho. It's the kind of picture, says the Chicago Tribune, that forces you to sleep with the lights on. A masterpiece, says New York's New Times. Halloween, from Compass International, rated R.
It's more about like building suspense. So I teach how to build suspense and like what the key rules would be. I'm not a horror fan. I'm really not, because I am a chicken shit. So I'm not somebody who's like, I want to see it. I like psychological thrillers.
Okay, well, I don't want to lift you off the hook on the Halloween thing, because What is it that you teach about the intro?
When watching the beginning of Halloween as an editor, everybody's like, there's no cuts. There is one cut. It's disguised in like when the camera moves across the bushes or whatever. And then, when the mask goes on the camera lens, I'm sure they cut. But it teaches you, when not to cut. And when you're building suspense, you want to withhold visual information, because if you give too much, they're not going to be scared, because they're going to have time, they're going to look at it and study it. And so nothing's going to startle. You want to add information in terms of audio, footsteps, music, heartbeat, because that builds another sense in the viewing experience that helps kind of scare people. You don't want to repeat any shots, because of the fact that if you showed us something once, when you go back to it, well, I already saw that, so now I can start looking around the frame. And then I always say, don't hold on shots too long for the same reason, because if you are on something too long, people start studying the frame. And if you wanted someone hidden or a shadow hidden or whatever, that's a problem. And then I would also throw in the creative use of off-screen space, like a shadow coming in, or something happens off-screen. You can add stuff as an editor. You can add sounds. You can add a lot of stuff in post out of the screen space that will startle. And in the beginning of Halloween, you have, knowing when to hold. You're not cutting like crazy. You've added information with the music. Michael, all those very, very small elements of sound. You have really creative use of off-screen space. The idea that a mask is on, the idea that you don't see Michael because we don't know he's a child. Thinking of a kid doing that wouldn't scare you as much. And then also the fact that like we move the camera the whole time, so you don't have time to study the frame because the camera's always moving. So it's kind of a master of the art of building suspense.
I'd say even the way the sister, who you don't know is the sister at that time, says the name, like there's familiarity with the way that she says the name. So that I think is a great example where you talk about like adding information.
Just makes you want to rewatch that scene now.
I know.
Do you teach that the whole film, or do you just do that scene for the class?
I just do the beginning. I use that as an example because I have a lecture that's based on different, I don't want to say genres, but like comedy, editing, suspense, the chase scene, so cross-cutting versus parallel editing, drama. When I do like the chase scene, when I do cross-cutting, I show the Blues Brothers chase. Parallel editing, I show Silence of the Lambs. Comedy, I love to show the montage in Wedding Crashers when they keep going into the weddings and they're like, Chuck Vindaloo and, Seamus O'Toole, we're going to get wasted. Like, I love that because it's a great, like, cute little montage. It's all in the editing.